humanities? Okay, everything that we're covering today, all the other videos I have attached to this post and my commentary here is really kind of follow up and piggybacking off of what was posted yesterday and tied into this week's Q&A. Basically looking at like longevity, extending the human lifespan, and things that you can do in new science and research on the horizon. Now, today's post, I'm getting into more like the nitty gritty of based on the research of this guy, David Sinclair, who is one of the main anti-aging like researchers out there from Harvard. Him getting into specific things that you can do to slow down the aging process in you that are backed by scientific like studies and evidence and all that. Now, this is the guy that I think I'm the most tuned into, that I have followed pretty closely, although there's 5 or 6 other guys out there that I've heard in interviews and have kind of piqued my interest too. David Sinclair might not be the most like interesting and like riveting speaker out there, but I think he, at least from my opinion, seems to be like the foremost expert in the world on it, and he's pretty practical on stuff too. Now, I had heard him talk for the first time a couple years ago. I've actually started taking several of the supplements that he recommends and that he says he personally takes. Now, when you go through and watch these videos, I want you to be aware of it, and I want you to kind of pay attention to it, but don't take it as I'm advocating that you go out there and start doing these supplements or anything right now. I'm definitely not telling you that. It's especially at your age. You guys are all in high school. You're young. Your bodies are still developing. I don't think you need to worry about aging too much right now at this stage of your life. However, I was hitting this topic because I do think it's something that should be on your radar. And maybe a decade or two down the road, this is something you tuck away in your memory bank and you revisit down the road once you get closer to about my age. And it might be worth your while to start some of these things if you think, after doing some critical thinking on it, if you think that the science backs it up and that it would be worth your while and worth your money too to go purchase this stuff. So the ones that he mentions, and he talks about them today in a couple of the videos I attach, are NMN, which actually when you're young, your levels of it are pretty high. I don't exactly understand everything it is, but I know it starts to deplete as you get older, your supply of that. And if you supplement with it, apparently it seems to, at least in a lot of other mammals, keep you young longer. I also take resveratrol, which is another one that he recommends. Essentially what that is, if you ever heard that like red wine is good for you, well, some of the stuff in red wine is really good for you, but the alcohol is generally not real good for you. And if you're drinking lots of red wine, it would have more negative impacts on your health than positive. However, there are some really powerful antioxidants in red grape skins. And basically, resveratrol is that. It's red grape skins where they've pulled out this antioxidant, and you take a much more condensed version of it. So like taking a dose of resveratrol is like basically equivalent to drinking, I think it's several bottles of red wine, of course, without the alcohol. So you don't get those negative benefits. And then the third and final one is actually like a diabetes medication called metformin. Now that one I don't take because you have to have a prescription for it. I actually plan to talk to my doctor about it a little bit and see if he would recommend it. But typically they don't give that to anybody unless they are diabetic or a borderline diabetic. So 2 of the 3 things that he recommends I do. And then the other thing that this you might want to start doing earlier on in life. You probably don't want to while your body's still developing, like mid-high school, or at least not till you're out of high school, but intermittent fasting and being hungry more often. There's a lot, the one thing that has been universally shown in studies to extend the lifespan of basically all mammals and I think even non-mammal species that they've done this on is just eating less food. Now we're humans, we're programmed to love to eat. You know what I mean? Our ancestors developed when they were out there, trying to struggle to find their next meal. And when they would find abundant sources of food, they would gorge on it and eat as much as they could and store that as fat. Now, like I said, when we covered the 7 deadly sins thing from last week, the one I struggle the most with is gluttony. So that one I'm probably not doing that great on, but that's one I plan to focus on more in the future, to just like for one, lose some weight, but also to be hungry more and to do longer fasting windows, because that's showed to really dramatically slow down the aging process in mammals. So that's one you might want to pay attention to as well. And of course, that would be the one that doesn't cost you any money out of pocket. It actually, if anything, may save you money because you're eating in smaller windows throughout the day, and then you have more times where you're fasting for longer periods and letting your body be a little bit hungry. So I would, of course, recommend that all of these things, before you start any of them, you talk to your doctor, you talk to somebody that actually has like a degree in health. And then also, just to recap, it's probably not ideal for you to start any of them right now at this stage of your life. But I do think I would highly recommend that all of you kind of pay attention to this stuff. And as you start getting older, it'll probably matter a little bit more to you, the whole aging process and extending your life. And hopefully in the next 5 years, 10 years, while you guys are still really young enough to benefit from it, they hopefully will have some breakthroughs and really be able to dramatically extend human lives. So I hope you enjoy these videos today. If you don't have time to watch them and you're really busy with other classes, that's fine. This stuff wouldn't really be required, but the videos I have, if you are interested, I think there's some pretty good informational ones, and it might help you complete this week's Q&A. So that's what I got for you today. Hope you enjoy the videos.